Hey there.
It's not that kind of show. What are you doing?
Always that kind of show. Since you wore it last week, I went with the Fighters of Food this week.
Nice.
Yeah.
See, I went with America this week.
America!
I almost wore the Foo Fighters
We
this
could
week.
use some America in our life.
Oh, gosh.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
So this show, we're going to talk about politics.
No. See ya. I've lost enough friends.
Okay, I do want to say something real quick. I heard it on a flash briefing this morning. Hey, look, there we are right there. C-Dub is watching. Dane, the main vein, is watching. I don't know why I said that. It just rhymes.
So does Dane Train.
Dane's Dane. Can we start the show over?
Unbelievable.
I did want to mention something this morning.
Already?
Yeah.
Just got real.
So I was listening to Alexa this morning. Oh, good. Usually when I say Alexa,
Something
turns on.
I don't know, I wish you could change Alexa to be like whatever you want it to be. You know, like you can change it to like Echo, you can change it to different, there's a few different,
I know a guy who's done that,
that would be great,
but
I
it was
know a
like
guy.
really technical, really. He's like, I don't want to do that for anybody else.
Like it could just be a word that like you don't use in general conversation. Yeah. That wouldn't fly at your house.
No.
Sure.
So here's what I want to bring up this morning. And again, I don't want to get ultra political here. It's just an observation. The news is talking about the hurricanes.
Okay.
Luke's watching. Hey, thanks for watching, Luke.
The least I can do is support ourselves.
The Luke is watching. It's gonna be that kind of morning for me.
My wife calls me the Luke. The Luke is on the couch.
No, I think she calls it something else.
Yeah.
It's not family
No.
friendly. So we got the hurricane going on and heading towards North Carolina, South Carolina. It sounds like it's gonna be really bad.
Good morning, Marisa.
Gonna be really, 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 really bad. But they're talking about Puerto Rico last year, and Hurricane, was it Maria that went through there? I can't remember for sure. I think it was Hurricane Maria. Morning, Jesse.
Yeah.
And again, this is not a political rant. This is strictly an observation. When our president says that only
Here we go.
16 to 18 people died in Puerto Rico from the hurricane last year, and the boots on the ground people say, no, it's more like 3,000 people died. There's a disconnect. Again, just an observation, not political. There's a disconnect. And I'm getting tired of these disconnects. And Luke has just left the show. Honestly,
I'll just say this.
I'm getting tired.
And there's so much more to everything than one events or singular events or one aspect or whatever. But to even say only 16 or 18 people died, that's still 16 or 18 people.
Yeah.
So, all right, deep voice, morning, Luke.
I want to share one other thing with you, and it's from thinking about 9/11 this past week.
Okay.
I was watching a show the other night.
Yeah.
When I was actually walking on a treadmill. I know Jacob Hall will be happy.
The mayor.
The unofficial mayor, which apparently...
Speaking of the mayor, quick side announcement. Next week, this guy is unavailable. So we have a special guest. The unofficial mayor of Puyallup, Mr. Jacob E. Hall, will be joining the show. I can guarantee you it'll be unlike anything you've seen. Try to keep up with him. So stop him by and say hi.
And you may ask yourself, is he drinking coffee? And no, he's hopped up on water.
It's straight speed. Yeah.
So I'm watching this show, and it's hosted by Mike Greenberg from ESPN.
Greeny.
And it's an hour-long special about how sports helped bring New York back to normalcy.
The Mets.
The Mets.
Yeah, the Jets.
The Jets and the Patriots. The Yankees in the World Series. The Rangers. And one thing that really, hey, good morning, Nick. One thing that really touched me was they did this segment on President Bush. and how President Bush, he's always been a baseball man. He was either an owner or part owner of the Rangers. He threw out the first pitch at the Milwaukee Brewers game in April to start the season, and he bounced it. His old man threw out the first pitch back in 1990, bounced it. And so when they said, hey, we want you to throw out the first pitch for the Yankees World Series opener at Yankee Stadium, he's like, I got to make this perfect. I can't bounce it. I can't do those things. Security was tight. They locked down the stadium for days. And then when finally President Bush got there, he gets in the bullpen. He gets into the bullpen.
Morning, Scott. Morning, Pam.
He gets in the bullpen under the stands, and he's warming up. And there's pictures of him warming up. And then Derek Jeter comes over and, says, hi, Mr. President, honor to meet you, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And they're talking for a couple minutes, and he's like, good luck out there, that kind of stuff. And as Jeter's walking away, Jeter says, don't bounce it. And President Bush said he said when he walked out to the mound, that was the most nervous he's ever been in his entire life. Yeah. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing that got me the goosebumps.
Morning, buddy.
What got me the goosebumps was, all this going on. The state of the country at that time. And as he's walking out to the mound, go watch this video. As he's walking out to the mound, he's got that cowboy bravado going out there like, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to make it work because my country needs me. He gets out there, he throws a pitch, and granted, it's a changeup, but he throws a strike. And he's even sharing the story as we're watching the video, and he's like, again, I've never been more nervous in my life. But you watch him after he throws that pitch, and that look on his face, that look of determination, of don't mess with America. I mean, it's just a simple, stupid little pitch to the home plate, but it just meant so much to America. After he threw that pitch, Yankee Stadium, USA, USA, and it's one thing that I share with my kids.
Yes, Jeremiah. Yes.
Because right on.
Nice you too, brother.
One thing I share with my kids that they don't really understand. Jesse and John were respectively 4 and 2 when it happened.
Yeah.
And I share with my kids that for that brief moment of time, our country was amazing.
Yeah.
Everybody came together.
Well,
Republicans, Democrats, Cougars, Huskies, Muslims, Christians.
Cougars and Huskies.
Give
them a chance to throw that in. Just give them an opportunity. No matter what it is.
But I remember that time so vividly. It was such an amazing time in our country, how we came together as Americans and just loved each other. And to see where we're at today versus where we were at back then, it makes me sad.
Morning, Presto!
Good morning, everybody. I'm glad Luke was able to jump on and say hi to everybody.
No, I think you're dead right. And let's get into this a little bit. Let's talk about 9/11. I mean, it's the right time to do it.
One thing before you get rambling here, and I mean it in a good way. We've actually had people tell us that they can't quite hear us because of the background noise.
Oh, okay.
So we may have to
be a little bit louder. That's why I'm like right here.
Okay, you got it. You got it. Brett, good morning, Brett.
It's been on my mind a lot this week, obviously, and I've talked to quite a few people, and I get asked about that a lot because of my being in the military and the time that I went in. And let me talk about President Bush for a second, since you got on it. And this isn't a for or against President Bush, but I hope I had the opportunity to meet the president back in 2003. Yeah, 2003, and I know that politics divides this country quite a bit and divides friendships and relationships, unfortunately. The one thing about that man that I wish people could know and understand, and I hope that they do, is that whether you believe in his politics or you don't, or you think he was a good president or you don't, I don't know that you would find someone who cares more about the American ideal and who cares more about the American military than President George W. Bush.
Yep.
I met him at Camp Pendleton, and the absolute care and just outward, I don't even know how to put it, honestly. It's just the absolute care that he took for everyone and his desire to shake everyone's hand, meet everyone's hand, and let them know he cared. In my lifetime, I haven't seen or felt that. And that's not to say that President Obama doesn't care. That's not to say that President Trump doesn't care. That's not to say that President Clinton... Sorry. Yeah, we got. Listen, that's not to say the other presidents don't care, but
I'll get on top of this.
Sorry.
You
Anyway,
got it.
I just
Can't talk.
No one ever does everything right, but I do hope people realize that about that man is how much he cared and how much he does care to this point, and the things that he does. So it was an honor to meet him, and it really was. And whether you agree with his politics or not, we don't agree with a lot of what people do, but I hope people can respect how he feels. There we go. How he feels about our country, about our servicemen and women, and then honestly, I really do think that most of what he was doing, whether you agreed or not, was with the best interest of heart and what he felt was the best for our country. Yeah,
we love you, Steph.
God bless it. So anyways, 9/11.
And I want to say to you, I agree. I was when everything went down, I was very proud that he was our president.
Yeah.
Did he do some things that are goofy? Yes. I mean, the thing I remember about President Bush is that he had, in some sense, a ridiculous innocence to him.
Yeah.
Which, behind the scenes, is very endearing of him.
Yeah.
Where, like you said, making sure he's shaking every service member's hand, making sure he's making eye contact with everybody, making sure that everybody feels important for that 5 to 10 seconds.
Yep.
And that, to me, is important. Did he do some dunderhead things politically? Yes, he did. But what president hasn't done that? But, I think about it, and I know my dad's not on Facebook, so my dad will never see this, but my dad does not like President Bush.
Yeah, my dad either.
And I just think to myself, I'm like, we needed him at that time.
We needed his patriotism. That's for sure.
Yep. So,
a lot of things irked me about that time too when 9/11 happened. I don't know if you remember, but President Bush was reading to a classroom in Florida.
Right.
And it definitely irritates me the people that give him a hard time about his reaction to 9/11. Someone came in, security came in, said something in his ear. And essentially, you saw the look in his eyes, and then he carried on, finished the book, and then left. And I've had some just absolute knuckleheads tell me how inconsiderate that was. What was he doing as the president? And my response to those, what would you like him to do?
Yeah.
At that moment, would you like him to freak out, drop the book, run out of the classroom, and scare a bunch of 5, 6-year-olds? Yeah. And scare kids and parents that were there and whatever. I thought he handled it perfectly.
Well,
finish
at that
what
time,
you're doing.
At that time, did all they know was that one plane had hit the tower?
I think so. And let them gather, let Intel, CIA, FBI gather information. Finish your 5-10 minute spot. Walk, be calm. And I thought it was perfect. We're losing people. Probably they're not President Bush fans. I don't care.
Well, share. You know what? While Luke is talking, share your 9/11 stories. Where you were at, what you remember.
Yeah.
How did you feel?
I'll tell you mine.
Share those.
I'll tell you mine real quick, and then we'll get back to it. I had joined the military. I had joined the Marine Corps about 4 or 5 months before that, and with one of my best friends, Hector.
Morning, Brett.
With one of my best friends, Hector, and we weren't exactly sure when we were going to ship out, but I remember everyone asking us all summer long about joining the Marine Corps, and we were like, perfect time. There's nothing going on in the world, right? We got nothing to worry about. We'll go do a little service, get some education, and go from there. And we had gone out. September 11th was a Tuesday, which is funny, right? Because this year it was a Tuesday.
It was a Tuesday this year, yeah.
We had gone out for dollar beers, dollar bowling at Narrows Plaza in Tacoma Monday night, and we had a good time. And back then I had a pager. And we stayed at our friend Holly's.
Pager.
Actually, Ashley and Nick, that we just closed their house.
Yep.
So it was her house. We stayed at her house that night. She wasn't there, and Holly was her sister. And my pager starts going off. I just got done telling my dad like it was perfect time. There's nothing going on in the world. No one was going to mess with us, right? And this just speaks to the difference between a Monday and a Tuesday that week, and the sense of security that we lost probably forever. Because not only can I remember Tuesday vividly, I can remember Monday. Because I can remember the difference in probably my mood or my attitude towards the world. And so my pager starts going off, right? Like my dad's trying to page me, my mom, all this kind of stuff. And at one point I just grabbed it because I'd been asleep for maybe 3 hours. And it's like 5:36 in the morning. And I had too much to drink the night before.
What?
I know. And I just chucked it across the room. And then a few minutes later, Holly came running down. She's like, "Oh my God, turn on the TV."
Yeah.
And so I flip on the TV, and at this point, only the first plane is at the tower. So we're like, "Oh my God!" Like, and I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, "Someone's getting fired. Someone traffic control's getting fired. How does this happen?" And then of course the second plane hits. And in a heartbeat, everything changed. In a heartbeat, it went from what a terrible accident to, oh my God, we're being attacked. I mean, you knew, like, two planes don't fly into a building. And I immediately got on the phone. I called Hector because we had taken him home that night before. And I told him what was going on, and I went and I picked him up, and we went to the recruiting office in Tacoma. And I told him that I usually text him on 9/11 because him and I, our service in that time just so tied and intermingled. And I told him, I texted him, I'll share it with you because I don't, him and I go back and forth. And what I said to Hector the other day, I just said, "Hey, I think about you this day every year, brother. It was this day that our entire big picture of what it meant to serve completely shifted. I'm proud of us both for deciding on that day that we didn't just sign up to wear the uniform during times of peace. Our friendship has always had a little something extra special that I don't have with anybody else because of the things that we did together. And this day always reminds me of that. I love you." And then he responded, saying the same thing, just some similar comments. And I remember we hadn't done our final swear-in that day, yet. And we went and we helped him answer phones. And it was really cool to see the patriotism from our country that day, answering phones. And you had people calling in, like,
Morning, Conrad.
"Hey, I got my shotgun. I'm ready to go. Put me on a boat." I mean, like, anybody who had, like, I got a slingshot. Like, anybody who had a remote, whatever. I'm really good with a fork. They were ready to go. Like, and we're like, "No, that's not how it works." And it was a month later that Hector and I went to boot camp. And it was, I'll tell you, it was really scary in a sense that when you're in Marine Corps boot camp, you do not have much contact with the outside world for 13 weeks. And I remember getting the newspaper every Sunday and flipping immediately to the map that they had of Afghanistan that showed where our military had moved through Afghanistan. So it was a purple picture of Afghanistan essentially, and every Sunday it would become a little more blue, how far our troops had advanced through Afghanistan, and attempting obviously to track down those responsible. And we didn't know much. I mean, our drill instructors would tell us all the time that the day we graduated boot camp, we were getting on a boat and going to war. We don't know that that's not how it's going to work, so that's just what we assumed was going to happen. But it was a trip, man. It was really a trip, and to be shipping off to boot camp within a month of that, kind of not knowing what the hell's going on, was a disconcerting time, a little bit. But that day, that Tuesday, I was impressed with our country, and I was impressed with people, and I was impressed with my buddy Hector and myself, honestly, at that time, being a young kid, just saying, okay, yesterday, I was signed up to, go hang out and train for 4 years and go to school. Today, I'm signed up to truly defend our country. And I was, I made myself okay with that. So, and so did a lot of people. And, the Pat Tillmans of the world and the Chris Bensons that I went to boot camp with, and people I know that didn't come back, and Sergeant Pate, rest my friend. It's been a different ballgame ever since, man. And it'll never be the same. It'll never be the same.
Nope.
So, yeah. Anywho.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
It's really good stuff.
And it's weird to tell your kids about it now, right? It's like our parents telling us about where they were, our grandparents telling us about where they were in Pearl Harbor.
Right.
I'm like, it just doesn't, Pearl Harbor, while we know it was important, emotionally it doesn't hit home.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Because we don't have we don't have an emotional tie to it. We don't have a direct impact. It's a historical activity, or it's a historical moment for us.
Yeah.
But so are a lot of things. It just, we're like, okay, we read about it, and you understand the impact, but you move on. Whereas 9/11 will, anytime I see videos of it, will bring me to tears.
Yeah. Well, my story is my story basically starts. I remember. It's funny that you say you remember Monday, because I remember Monday too. I remember. I had my office, which eventually became Kaylee's room, but I was sitting in my office, I had a TV over off to the side, and I was working on something on the computer Monday night, and I think, I was watching something, and I had this weird feeling, and I'll never forget it, because I can't believe I'm like, wow. I had this weird feeling like, something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Just, I couldn't put my finger on it, I couldn't say, just... something's going to happen. Things are too good, but I'm thinking more along the lines of like a movie star is going to die, or there's going to be like a train wreck, or there's something like that. Never did I ever think of something like that. But I remember thinking that the night before. I wake up the next morning. Why am I getting? I've got this. Okay. I've got this set to Do Not Disturb, yet I'm still getting disturbed. I'm disturbed.
Rory's very well. In more ways than one, but.
So I remember waking up Tuesday morning, and my alarm clock was I used radio to wake up, and so I had the radio on, and it woke up at 6, and I remember hearing them talk about a small commuter plane has hit one of the World Trade Center towers, and I'm like, that's odd. As I'm kind of coming out of my haze of waking up, I'm like, that's kind of odd. So I'm like, okay. I get up and I walk out to the front room and sit down. No big deal. Just kind of like, I'm sure there's something on today because it's based in New York. So I turn on the news, and I look at it and I'm like, oh my gosh. That doesn't look like a commuter plane type of impact. And so at that point, Christy had gotten up. She came walking out into the front room, and she sat down too. And so we're sitting there, we're just kind of talking. We're like, man, that's kind of strange. I mean, something doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
And I kid you not, within, I don't know, it felt like maybe 15, 20 minutes of sitting on the couch. We're there, we're watching, we're talking, and then all of a sudden, the second one. We saw it live, and my jaw dropped, and I looked at Christy and I said, "We're at war."
Yeah.
I mean, one time, an accident can happen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a clear sunny day, but accidents can happen. But 2 times, we're at war.
Yeah.
And it gives me goosebumps right now just remembering that moment. And I remember thinking to myself, I can't go to work today. I had the company truck, so I was going to go do servicing in Silverdale, and I thought to myself, I can't go to work today. Then reports started coming in that a third plane had hit the Pentagon, and at that point, I'm completely freaked out. I'm like, I can't go to work. I've got a young son, I've got a young daughter, I've got a young wife.
Good morning, Jason. Happy birthday, buddy.
Yep, happy birthday, dude. And I'm thinking to myself, I can't go, but I'm like, I've got to. And then the thoughts of, oh my gosh, when is a plane going to hit the Columbia Tower in Seattle?
Yeah.
And it just a total mind mess that day. I called up my boss because he was planning on riding with me, and I said, hey man, obviously you know the news. What do you want to do? And he said, let's go ahead and let's try and get through the day. Let's get it done as quickly as possible so we can get back home. I said, okay. So I met him in Silverdale, and we got to Red Robin. The Red Robin in Silverdale. We're working on the equipment, but we're going back and forth. We're going from the equipment in the kitchen to the TV in the bar. The equipment in the kitchen to the TV in the bar. And we're in the bar watching the TV when the first tower fell. And I wanted to puke. I wanted to absolutely puke. And I told my boss, I said, let's get this day done now. I want to be done. I got to get home. I can't function.
Yeah.
And so we got the day done really quick. Everybody because normally it's like 8 to 10 stops. I think we had that all done within 4 hours. And we just told everybody, we said, listen, we're just gonna make sure everything's running good. If something happens, call us later. But we got to go home.
Yeah.
And I got. I'm the crier. I got home after I got home, and I walked through the door, and I think that's probably the biggest emotional hug I've ever given anyone in my family up to that point.
Yeah.
And then we just stayed glued to the TV the rest of the night. I mean, I didn't want to go anywhere. It was so intense.
Yeah, I don't remember. It's funny is I don't remember Wednesday. I don't remember Thursday. I remember that I was watching a lot of TV the rest of that week.
I remember Friday.
I don't really remember working that much. I was going in and out of the recruiting office. I had stopped work within a couple weeks of that because I was getting ready to leave for boot camp. So I just was kind of, hanging out. So I was going to the recruiting office a lot, helping them answer phones or whatever. It was just.
Well, I remember Friday, and this is when it really started hitting me, is we went up to Seattle. And Seattle had this big memorial, I don't want to say service, but big memorial event.
Yeah.
And basically, bring flowers to the fountain. The fountain's going to be off. Bring flowers to the fountain and just pay. That's how our community's going to pay respects. Walked up to the fountain. That thing was just a sea of American flags and flowers and messages and teddy bears and balloons and I gotta see if we have pictures because we didn't have a digital camera back then, so I gotta see if I can find if we've got pictures from that. But it blew me away. At that moment, I'm the crier in the family, and when it comes to stuff like that, and it comes to community, and that's coming together as a country, I lost it. I'm like, this is the closest thing to what heaven is going to be like. And if that's the case, awesome, because this is amazing coming together. And it didn't matter. It didn't matter if you're gay, it didn't matter if you're black, it didn't matter if you're white, it didn't matter if you're Christian, it didn't matter. We're all here together as a country.
What's horribly sad to me is that we can't maintain that.
Yeah.
It's like one of my really close friends passed away a couple years ago. And he was my age, and we went to the memorial, and I see all these people I haven't seen in forever. And it's, the comments made, of course, why does it take something like this to get us all together?
Yep.
Why does it take something like that to get the country together? The reasons, I guess, are obvious, but it's really sad. We're only 17 years, I say only 17 years, time is flown by. We're only 17 years removed, though, and we're more divided now than I can ever remember in my lifetime, in my 38 years. And to be honest, we'll never be that united again. It would take another event like that, which, God forbid, right? But I just don't see it, and it's horribly that's horribly tragic to me. And it's horribly tragic to me that people, I go through. We just went to Hawaii as a family, and we went through TSA, and there was a guy off the side just giving TSA a hard time about their job. And don't get me wrong, I go off about I can complain about TSA, but here's the thing: when you're going through TSA,
good morning, Andre. Good morning, Mark.
Yeah.
Cynthia. Charlie.
Or you're going through the security line at a Hawks game or wherever, or a concert, and you're frustrated and the line's long. Try not to be upset. People doing their job.
Yeah.
Try to remember why we're here now. Why that's going on. And frankly, I try to remember every time I go through one of those things to tell people as I go through, hey, thanks for doing your best to keep us safe.
Yeah.
Because that's what they're trying to do. Whether we agree with their tactics sometimes or it's too much, and people complain about things. I'm sure I'm gonna have a ton of people just get upset with me about this, but like the phone tapping, people are like, well, they're listening to our conversations. who the hell cares? Like, I don't care. Like, the worst that's going to happen if someone from the CIA is listening to my phone conversation is they're going to hang up and be like, that dude is weird. Like, if that's what it takes, for me, if that's what it takes, that they listen to me freaking talk dirty to my wife once in a while, or Rory, like,
Talk dirty to me.
yeah, if that's what it takes to keep
you're calling the wrong person.
to keep a plane from flying into a building, or something tragic like that happen, whatever. Listen, do your worst, because I don't have anything to hide, and I just.
Yeah, I think one thing I take.
I remember what it felt like on that day to feel like I had lost innocence, I had lost family members, I had lost friends, and
Jillian, good morning.
I am completely okay with people doing, for the most part, what they have to keep us safe.
I think the thing I've learned through all of that is I'm nicer to people.
Yeah.
And if I'm frustrated in a situation, especially if I'm on the phone talking to Comcast or talking to Verizon or whoever I'm talking to,
No, they're idiots.
I'll flat out tell them, I'll say, I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at the situation. And I'll even prepare them. When I call them up and I'm hot and bothered, I'm like, I just want you guys to know, I'm pissed off about this. I'm not mad at you. And if you can't solve this, I'm not mad at you. I just want to talk to the next person up the line.
Yeah.
So
It's just.
well, Marisa shared something. Unfortunately, I can't pull it up on my
I have it
iPad.
right here.
You got it right there?
Yeah, she said she was in 4th grade watching it happen on TV at the babysitter's house. Didn't know why the news was making such a big deal out of something. She just didn't understand at that age,
Wow.
I don't think I went to school that day. Yeah, I don't think most people didn't.
Marisa, I saw the Challenger explosion when I was in 4th grade. And I remember watching that live.
Yeah.
Because the teacher was going up.
I was in kindergarten, I think. Yeah.
And Hawkins had said, we're going to have a live feed if anybody wants to come early to watch the Challenger take off. So I was at Happy Hours daycare.
Yeah.
And I actually, 4th grade, they allowed me to walk up to the school. I walked up to the school, got there about an hour, I think, early before school started, and they had it in I want to say the library.
Yeah.
And they had the live feed of the Challenger taken off, and I saw that live too. And I remember thinking at the time, I'm like, as a 4th grader, I'm like, that's not good.
Yeah.
I've seen space shuttle launches before. That's not supposed to happen.
No.
So yeah, that was my 4th grade experience.
Yeah.
All right.
So, we could talk about this all day. I really could. I know we have a lot of military people that join us, and I would love to get their opinions. If you have anything to say, do say it. Even if you think the topic's past, it's always good to come back to.
We read about the Challenger, but by that time, before 9/11, the most tragic thing I remember was the Columbine shooting, and didn't even understand that until middle school.
Columbine. Rachel's best friend, Amanda, from Denver, went to Columbine High School. And she had graduated the year before, so she knew a lot of people that were still, obviously she was 1 year removed from high school, freshman in college when it happened. So, yeah.
I remember that day too. That was a tragic day.
Yeah, it's that's another thing I think that shifted the paradigm, right? It just changed our country a lot. Was that shooting? I think the worst thing it did is I think it started a pattern. I think before that, it just didn't enter the brains of most kids that it was a possibility.
No.
And now it's something you have to think about, obviously. And
I've had the conversation with my daughter.
yeah,
I'm like, are you always aware? Are you always paying attention? Are you always?
I talk to the girls all the time, and Rachel always thinks Rachel thinks I'm funny a lot of times. We go into restaurants, and I want to sit with my back to the wall where I can see things. Military habits, I guess, and it's I try to tell the girls the same things. It's like it's sad, but pay attention. And say hi to the kid that no one else says hi to, because when they do come in.
All I can think of is that scene in Billy Madison with Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, he crosses them
Yeah,
off.
he crosses up. So it's like, I want to make sure I reach out to that guy because I want him to cross my name off the list.
What's that Dane Cook bit where he says, the guy in your office, he's got all the pens, he's got the whole thing of pens going, no one talks to him, everyone's kind of rude to him. He goes, not me, I say hi to that guy. I give him a Snickers bar. I make sure he knows that I care, because when that guy comes in shooting up the place, he's going to get to me and be like, thanks for the candy.
So, it's sad but true.
But there's a lesson to be learned there. Be nice to people, you know. And we're joking a little bit, but you know, be nice to people. People are hurting out there.
So Jason says, I was waking up and listening to the country station, and they were talking about the traffic jam at Joint Base Lewis McChord, and I figured that something bad had happened.
Yeah. It was on lockdown, man. It was on lockdown.
I barely remember the Challenger explosion, and those shootings are still happening. I was the kid that no one seemed to talk to.
Oh, buddy. I remember Jason having good friends in high school. He was a year ahead of me.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's, you know, there were some kids I remember that I would be a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
But it's funny is that never did I think that. And then Columbine happened after I got out of high school, a year removed, and then you look back and you're like, oh man. You
Yeah.
know, and I have this discussion with my kids all the time, and I really tried in high school to be nice to everybody. And there was some people that were not nice to some certain kids, and you know, I try to tell them to knock it off. It's just no one needs to deal with that.
Oh, if I
that
go back in time,
crap, dude,
I'd absolutely slap myself upside the head with some of the things I did.
you know, I'll be honest with you, dude, and
Boy, this became like a really emotional Oprah, Jerry Springer kind of.
get out the tissue box.
Yeah, my goodness. Therapy session.
Even in high school, even in, you know, everyone else was being mean. I just didn't have it in me. You know.
Yeah.
I didn't. You know. I mean, if you're being a jerk to me, I'll be a jerk to you. But as far as like the kids, like yeah, spread the love. Absolutely, Joey. Absolutely. It's just, you know, I lost friends over the last election. You know, and sadly. That I still try to reach out to and they don't want to, and it's over miscommunications or whatever, and I know a lot of people like that, and our you know, to be completely frank, your and I's relationships with members of our own family have been distressed because of politics, and it's just not worth it. No, it's just not worth it, and I stopped talking about politics with most people a long time ago, and because it's not worth it to me, you know, to lose friendships or to be that worked up about, you know, things, and I sometimes I say they're insignificant things and people get pissed off and be like, oh, it's not insignificant. It really is, because in the grand scheme of things, you know, I've had somebody in my family tell me, you watch, this country's going to fall apart in the next 4 years. No, it's not. No, it's not. Our country's gone through much worse things in President Trump's presidency or whatever, and you know, whether you think he's doing a terrible job or a great job, it doesn't matter how terrible you may think it is. It's not. We've gone through worse. We will go through worse, and we'll be fine.
Yeah,
we'll come through.
That's one thing I try to tell some people is that our country is stronger than
one person.
One person.
Yeah.
And you know, for everybody that freaked out when President Obama became president, guess what?
Yeah,
Country's still here. President Trump is president right now. Guess what? We're still here. I mean, yes, there's problems, there's situations, there's issues. I get it. I'm not trying to trivialize that. But as a nation, we're stronger than just one dude.
Yeah.
And I think
that's why our country's built the way it is, with overlapping systems of government and checks and balances. Anyways.
Well, I'll let you have the final thought here because we're going to jump in and we're going to bomb.
Are we done? I'm not done yet.
No, we're not done. No, I want you to wrap this, put a bow on it, and broadcast interrupted.
Oh, I'm not done with our show.
No, we're not done with our show.
You trying to jump in on her show?
No, I told her
Oh, you saying hi?
Yeah, but apparently.
Frozen.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah, I guess you know, in light of 9/11 this week, the only thing I would say to any of you out there is seriously try to remember what it felt like that day, as much as you can. I try to think of it every time I go into a stadium or I go through security.
Oh, I always
and remind myself of why we're doing it. And you know, I know we end the show every week and tell you be well, give someone a hug, take care of each other. I truly mean that. It's granted you're going to have disagreements and you're going to argue with each other, but nothing is worth sacrificing friendships and loving relationships that you've built. And you know, as a country, try to remember, you know, how it felt that day, and not only how it felt on the negative side, but how it felt to see people come together that normally wouldn't, and realize that no matter how different you are from people, we have common ground and goals with everybody.
You know, and I love that Daryl Morley song.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I know people, they think some of those songs are a little too redneck and too American and stuff like that. And you know what?
Too American.
I'm not going to apologize for that.
Too American. Think about that for a minute.
I love that song. And there's another song by Toby Keith. Was it The Angry American? Or and I don't care. I will sing both those songs at the top of my lungs. The Lee Greenwood song, Proud to Be an American. Yeah, those songs will tear me up because I understand. You ready for me to trigger people? I already said, by saying trigger, I've already triggered
Just spacing out.
I understand the privilege that I have living in America.
Yeah.
And I am grateful and proud, especially of the people who sacrificed so I can be here.
You know what irritates me? You know what doesn't, like, what couldn't possibly irritate me more? And people who see this might get fired up, but
we didn't talk about this in the pre-show.
I'll call you knuckleheads right now.
Drink.
I'll call you knuckleheads right now. I feel like you have a memory of that day. It's humbling every year. We're not invisible, although sometimes we think we're true. Invisible or invincible. Either way, yeah. It's that's a good point, Jillian. And I'll tell you what, man. And I'll tell them right now that they're ungrateful. They're ungrateful, emotional idiots. Anyone who told me or continues to say, if President Trump gets elected or Trump gets elected or whatever, I'm moving out of. I'm leaving. Bye. What a stupid thing to say. I know that like we're not supposed to say things that are, but what a stupid thing to say. Like, okay. I've traveled.
I found your button.
Yeah, I've served in the military. I've traveled. I've worked with other militaries from around the world. And let me tell you what, I don't care who's president of this country. You have it better than other places. I'm going to move to Mexico. I'm going to move. Go ahead. Go ahead. It's just irritates.
You need somebody to help you sell your house?
God bless it. I'll refer you out, man. Make some money off of it.
Oh my gosh.
It just that you know what? It honestly, as someone who's been in the military as a veteran, and I have a lot of friends that are still in the military and who have served and all that, it's disrespectful to those people who put their lives on the line, who don't see their kids go to school, who miss birth. My buddy Jonathan Bielma, if he sees this, who missed the birth of his son because he was in Iraq. Just go home and watch those videos of parents coming home and surprising their kids.
Oh gosh.
and tell me, and then come back and tell me I'm going to leave this country. Hell with you. Go ahead and leave. Hell with you. Sorry, but man alive.
41-minute mark.
It's disrespectful, man. And it's horrible. It's a horrible thing to say. It's like everything that this country stands for, and everything that people fight for, and you're going to say because of one person getting elected or whatever that it's not worth it anymore.
Yeah.
The blood of hundreds of thousands of Americans that have died is not worth it for you anymore to stick around for 4 years and try to make it better. You're going to run away like a coward.
And what I love about your comment is it's not a liberal comment, it's not a conservative comment. Because I know that you're also talking about the people that decided who said after Obama was elected, I'm gonna leave. Bye.
Yep.
Go.
Yeah, go. You know what? No matter who's in the office, no matter what's going on, I'm gonna stay here, make a life for myself and my family, and try to make things better. No matter what. And if you run away, you have no resolve. You have no resolve. You have no character. You have no goodbye. I don't have room for you. I'm sorry. I don't have room for you. So anyway,
man, this
Charles.
was not the direction we thought we were going to
Sorry,
go.
I got a little fired up there, but
no, I love it. I love it.
And that's not a political rant.
No.
And you know me, like I float pretty down the middle. I have things on. We don't need you here with that attitude, right? I float pretty down the middle. I vote both ways on lots of different things, and it has nothing to do with politics. It just has everything to do with look. We've all cowards run, absolutely, Charles. And it just has everything to do with I have more love for my country, and I have more love, and I have more respect for myself and those people who have come before us and who fight for us than to say, when the going gets rough, I'm going to get out of here. Yeah. Like, come on, dude. Go ahead. Go. See how much better it is down there. Wherever you're going to go.
And to piggyback on that, I have so much respect for people who are serving right now. Because if you're serving right now, this is the most I can't even find the right word. Insecure, crazy, just
Good morning, Dan.
no direction. We don't know what the frick is going on in the world. Time to serve, and you have the courage to serve at this time.
Yeah.
Good on you. 100% respect, 100% support. When things come up in any political realm, you're gonna have our support.
Yeah.
And if the president does something stupid in the next 2 years and sends troops somewhere where we as a nation don't agree with, I'm still going to support our troops because they're following orders. They're doing what they think is the best thing by being in the military.
Yeah.
And does the military always do the right thing
My
as
good,
far as orders go?
my good friend Scam Likely.
Scam Likely.
Haven't seen Scam in a while.
Was he in boot camp?
You can catch up.
Instead of griping and complaining, why don't you do something to try and make it a better place for yourself and everyone else? Get involved, people.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why we did the peanut butter food drive. I mean, that's it right there in a nutshell. We can bitch and moan. Oh, I just cussed on my own show. But you know what? It was a righteous cussing.
I've heard worse.
You can bitch and moan about how things are going on in your community, or you can do something about it. And that's why we do the peanut butter food drive. That's one of the reasons why we get involved in our community. There are people out there that are hungry.
Yeah.
And instead of like, well, why don't you get a job? Why don't you work harder? Maybe there's a situation they can't. So that's why they rely on the food bank. Jeremiah telling us his story about how his family relied on the food bank. Not a bad person. He's trying to get things done in life. His family's trying to do the right thing.
Yeah.
They needed a helping hand. So that's why we do stuff like that. So.
Yeah. It's just tragic to hear those things. People say things like that. It really is. So, yeah. When Sergeant Pate, Staff Sergeant, when he died, I served with him down in when I was in the Marine Corps, and he didn't come home to his wife and kids, and I knew them, and for people to say when the going gets rough, I'm leaving, it's like spitting on his grave to me. It's and those people who are willing to, and it's the complete opposite of guys like Patrick Tillman, who are willing to walk away from millions of dollars to fight for their country, versus the people that are like, oh my God,
Careful.
yeah.
Careful. You're going to go down a road that I am going to get political.
Yeah. So anyway,
You mean a football player who sacrificed everything?
Yeah, I know.
Is that who you're talking about? Pat Tillman, who sacrificed everything?
so anywho,
Jeremiah's watching.
yeah, we could go all day, but
Oh, man, we could. All right. What should we talk about now?
Yeah.
We've got some time left. What do we got?
Thanks,
We got
Jillian. I
about,
appreciate you. I really do.
We got about 15 minutes left.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I want to talk about. Kids are back in school.
Wait a second. Thank you for your service, Luke. Thank you.
He does this at least once a day in public.
Usually I'm clothed.
Oh boy.
I just stumped him.
Oh, you know what I like to talk about? Kids are back in school.
Hallelujah.
Kaylee's
Can I get an amen?
Kaylee's off to ER. Maddie's off to
Kaylee-
Callus.
Kaylee has done day 2 of driver's ed,
Yeah.
and Christy's taking her out to a parking lot today to start driving around a parking lot.
Christy, I admire your bravery. I really do.
Charles, why do you got to bring the show down?
Oh my gosh, Charles. I don't even know if that's considered choking, but I'm just a professor of mine at PLU and a really good friend and mentor of mine, Dr. David Seal, would call that tripping on your. Yeah, I can't finish this sentence. But anywho. Yeah, kids are off to school. Hey, my daughter will watch this at some point because she always does. My kids do.
Sorry for cussing.
Yeah.
It was
it's
righteous
fine.
cussing.
It was righteous cussing. Madeline, so proud of you, sweetheart. She went and tried out for the volleyball team this week. She's not really played much volleyball in her life, but she's a pretty good athlete. Over 30 girls tried out, and 12 were selected, and she made it. So, and I wanted to talk to you about this because I know you'll know this. I grew up, I was an athlete, and and I've been in theater productions and stuff, and that's just not, you get in your stomach the butterflies, the nervous, you can't get to go away, and I haven't felt that in a long time, just because we're not we're just not, that's not where our life's at anymore, we get nervous about things, or we worry about things, but you don't get the butterflies and day before yesterday, on Tuesday, they were finding out who was making the team, and I knew that, and I was going to pick her up.
Yeah.
And it came to me, dude, like that. I had so many butterflies. I was sick to my stomach, nauseous, like just. And because I was so didn't trade for him when I started. I said they trade Seager for a pitcher. That's just because people love Seager because he's been here
Finish
forever.
your story. We'll go back
Seager
to
needs to go.
We'll go back to Mariners.
I love Seager too. Okay. Anyway, I pulled into Callis and I was just sitting there waiting. And the longer I was waiting, the more knots I got in my stomach. I just wanted to throw up. I was just preparing myself for consoling my 12-year-old 7th grader, and
Been there.
it was. And obviously, I've had to console before, and it'll happen again, and all this. But for some reason, that day, I think just because I knew there was a chance she wasn't going to make it, right? I mean, I only kept a third of the girls, and she hadn't really played before. I think parental butterflies are way worse than any personal that I've had in my life. It was, hey Jason, happy birthday. Have a great day, my friend. Thanks for stopping by.
See you, dude.
And she came out. I said, hey, how'd it go? And she said, well, and I'm like, oh, boy. And then she goes, I got to be at practice tomorrow. And I was like, oh,
That's your girl.
yeah. So
Totally messing with you.
Yeah, totally messing with me. But I'm so proud of her. And she's gonna see this, and I had this conversation with her yesterday. Junior high is a tough time, man.
Yep.
And I think she's finding her first week to be tough. I will be honest with you. I've not sheltered my kids by any means, but I have tried to retain their innocence as long as possible. And she came home yesterday. She got in the car, and she was visibly just a little downtrodden. You okay, sweetheart? And cry, man. She said, it's just, I don't know. It's just, I don't know if I like it. I'm like, what do you not like? She's just like, everyone's different, She goes, everyone wants to swear all the time now and try to be. She goes, I'm not into that, and all the girls just want to talk about boys all the time, and I don't, and I'm just like. The only thing I could tell her was...
No, I'm listening to you.
The only thing I could tell her was, sweetheart, you do you, and just be yourself, and it'll iron itself out. But I think she feels at times a little bit right now on the outside looking in because she's a strong girl. She's not going to just start dropping F-bombs to fit in. She's not just going to start talking about boys because her friends are. Because she would rather, honestly, talk about the Seattle Storm's WNBA championship, and she would rather talk about a book she read. And I love it. I love every bit of it. And her and I have great conversations, and she's my best little friend, and all that. But I can see where, right now, in school, it's a bit of a struggle for her, that transition. And Rachel, my wife, told me last night, we were talking about it, and she said, I hope she doesn't talk to me about it. And I was like, why? And she said, well, you're the consummate, you'll be like, it's okay, sweetheart, it'll iron itself out. And she said, I don't have that for her. I don't. She said, you in middle school were different. You were, and sure, Rachel and I grew up together, obviously. You talk to everybody, you whatever, you fit in. And she said, for me, it was a lot different. And she shared with me, and this, I didn't really know this, is that 7th grade, 8th grade was really tough for Rach. And because she was very smart and studious, and she's like, I spent most of 7th grade being a TA or helping in the office, because I just didn't, it took a long time to iron out. And so she goes, it just might be what it is for Matt.
It's tough. I know Kaylee, when Kaylee went to Ferrucci, she's told me multiple times she hated 7th grade. She absolutely hated it. And there were times that she would come home.
Oprah. You do you, baby.
She would come home and she would just be upset. And I think 7th grade was when she was probably her heaviest. And
yeah, that post for her this morning was awesome.
I didn't see it post this morning.
Oh,
I'll have to find it.
Never mind.
Yeah. No, I have to go find it.
Maybe she blocked you.
Maybe she I'm not on it as much as I should, which Christy would disagree with.
Yeah. Let's talk.
But the thing is that I had to talk with Kaylee.
And the lie detector says,
yeah,
that's a lie.
I had to talk with Kaylee, and I told her, I said, honey, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. She's like, but everybody does this, and nobody wants to be friends with me. Nobody wants to do that. And I said, Here's the thing. And like Julie said, you do you. You be you. You be Kaylee. Don't be somebody else. Be Kaylee. And you're going to have people become attracted to you. You're gonna have friends become attracted to you.
The right ones.
Yeah, the right ones. And by the time she was a ninth grader at Ferrucci, she was one of the queens.
I guess you put it up last night at midnight.
Oh, wow.
And what she said. Just
I'll read it later.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna cry
right now.
Yeah, I don't want to cry.
You cried enough on this show
Yeah, that's true.
for one day.
Her and her friends were the queens of the castle. They were running Ferrucci. Their final.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, it was.
And the thing is that Maddie, hang in there. You
Yeah.
just continue to be who you are,
Yeah.
and you're going to attract the right people.
Yeah.
And especially if she's playing volleyball and she's improving her skills and she becomes one of the players on there that is one of the better players.
Yeah.
You're going to start attracting the right people.
Yeah.
You're still going to attract a couple knuckleheads. That always happens, but you're going to attract the right people because. Just because I didn't play basketball.
Morning, dude.
Just because I didn't play after my freshman
You
year
played
because
football.
I was no better than C squad bench.
Makes sense. Yep, it does. It does make sense. And I've watched her this year, like based on what you're saying too. I've watched each last week, or even in the last 6 months. Friends that she's had for a long time kind of start to go by the wayside, and it's different interests and whatever.
Yeah, it happens.
And it's tough. And I've told her, I'm like, the people that you're going to spend your time around for the next, whatever, the rest of your life or the rest of school and all that kind of stuff. They may not be. You may not find them as quickly as you lose other relationships. That's just the way I am.
You guys carrying a Main Street sign.
Yeah.
Red Solo Cup.
Random.
Okay.
But it will happen. And my biggest thing with her, I told her last night, I love you. You're an awesome person. She sticks up for people. She is always looking out for others. She's nice to everybody.
She's really a great kid.
She is, man. And I'm truly blessed. Obviously, we bump heads on some things, but she is a great kid, and I couldn't be more proud of her at school with just the way that she carries herself and interacts with other people. And she's not. She's a strong kid in the sense that she's not ever going to. I really don't think she'll ever sacrifice what she thinks or how she wants to be portrayed in order to please somebody else. So.
Well, I just got to tell you, man, you're doing something right with your kids, because when I came over there last week and we did our little football schedule stuffing in the envelopes party,
Oh yeah.
both your older girls were on top of it. They wanted to be helpful. They wanted to do whatever they could to get things done. And even little Jocelyn and Mav, we're like, yeah, you guys.
They wanted to.
Yeah, they wanted to.
Yeah.
But your girls, they were on top of it. If they got done with one aspect, they're like, hey, can I help you do this? Can I do that? And you guys are doing something right.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. All right, you guys want to see Rory cry?
Oh gosh, you're gonna make me cry.
So Kaylee says, go ahead and read it.
No, read it to me.
Okay. I've officially been depression-free and happy for 2 years now, and I can't thank God enough. These past 2 years, I've been able to achieve so much that I'm proud of, and I just want to thank everyone that helped improve my mental state and caused me to finally be able to love my life again. And she put up a picture of her 2 years ago. I don't know if you guys know this, but Rory's daughter took it upon herself as like a 7th grader that she wanted to change her health, and she did. She dropped like 30 pounds. More importantly than that, she got healthy. She found a purpose with her running, and at a young age, in her balanced eating and all that. And the proof is right there. So I saw that this morning. Rory had not seen that yet, and I want to show. The great thing is, and now I'm going to cry, is that the first person that I saw that liked that was my daughter. The one we're talking about as far as finding her way. And I thought, what a great person for my daughter to look up to and to be around. And so, blessings all around. Blessings all around. Good stuff. All right.
Let's turn into a cry.
Got it together.
That's it. Nobody's gonna do real estate with us now. Look, these guys cry all the time.
We'll cry at your showings. We'll cry at your closings.
I cried at the Foo Fighters, so I mean,
I'm learning to fly, Dave. Yeah. So, anyway.
I want to run too, Dave.
Good stuff, right? And both our kids are at another phase of transition in their life. With Kaylee going off to high school, and my oldest going off to junior high. and my second oldest going into the Quest program. They're all kind of in these stages, and so it's nice to see Maddie have people to look up to and get through things with. So, good stuff.
All right.
School's in sesh.
Well, what else should we finish up with?
I don't really got much else, man. Oh, Charles was talking about the Mariners. I guess we could punch on that real quick.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, man. Just the same old September, man. Same old into the...
oh, gosh.
And,
you know...
I think changes are coming. I do think some big changes are coming this season. I think that they got Jerry DePoto his contract extension, and I think he's done a good job. I think, you know, it's been a slow... Maybe slower than some people think, but these things take time.
Did Service get his contract extension?
Yep.
Okay,
yep.
I couldn't remember.
As he should.
Yeah.
And I think that you're going to see some things in this offseason that are going to be tough for some people to swallow. Because we become, it's like with the Seahawks this last year, right? We become attached to players.
Yeah.
And it's tough to watch them go sometimes.
Nicole, good morning. I didn't see you jump on there.
Yeah,
Melissa, good morning.
But
see the Taylors here in about 2 hours.
Awesome. But I think the important thing for people to remember, at the end of the day, you can still be a fan of the player. You can still wish them well. But at the end of the day, you're a fan of the team. And it could be with Kyle Seager. That's been a hot topic. That a change of scenery might help him out. Bottom line is you can't have your third baseman hitting 210 all season. I don't care if he's hitting 20-something home runs. It doesn't matter if you're hitting 210, because if you were hitting 280, you probably have 35 home runs.
And I don't know how I feel about Mike Zunino, because I know he does a good job with the pitching staff, but he is a liability
At the plate. Yeah.
Oh, we're definitely, now we're talking sports. I know Dane's gone.
Yeah. I think, the Mariners season is officially over. There's no way you come out of a 7-8 game deficit with 20 games left.
Well, you know, like I told Anthony yesterday,
Unless the A's just decide to boycott. But
I think they're tired. I think they're just exhausted. I don't think they could handle a run like that. I think they were too hot, and they just...
There was one of the reporters they had on ESPN the other morning, they were talking about this. And they said, what do you think happened? And he goes, I don't think it's a matter of what happened to cause the down. He goes, I just think it's a matter of what was happening, couldn't happen for keep going on. Like, historically, when they were 25 games above 500 while being negative run differential, that can't sustain through a whole season. And it didn't. You know, eventually it caught up to them. And that's a pitching thing. I think we're going to see some changes there. Felix, maybe. I hate to say it because he's been amazing for so long, and his talent was truly wasted here.
Well, I saw an article yesterday that said that he at one point thought about walking away from baseball when they demoted him to the bullpen.
Yeah.
Felix, thank you for everything you've done and how you've stuck through.
Felix watches us.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Appreciate that, Felix. But it's time to move on. I'm sorry that we could not mesh your awesome talent with a good team at the right time. It just, crap happens. See, look, see, Maddie, I can bring it back in. Crap happens. But yeah, it's time. It's time.
Can I interrupt you, folks?
Yeah.
Hey, we're a little Army vets, but he's a Navy guy, but he wants to know what you're doing over here.
Oh, we do a live broadcast every week from here. So,
you do?
Yeah, we're both in real estate. We have a bunch of clients and friends that come watch us. So every Thursday, 10 o'clock, we do a live broadcast. Yeah.
Okay.
And we just interact. It's like a live TV show. Yeah, we just interact with people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks for your
absolutely.
service.
All right.
Thank you very much. And that's why we do it live in a coffee shop.
Yeah, it's fun like that.
Because that kind of stuff happens right there.
So, anyway, we don't want to talk about their story. I think some changes are coming. Obviously you're off the Felix bandwagon. I would be okay giving him some time next year, based on if he goes out this offseason and makes some changes and is willing to listen, which I guess has been an issue of him wanting to make changes. If he does those things and it looks like he's those changes would get him more to like what Jamie Moyer or Greg Maddux was later in their career, then I'd be willing to give him another year, but or not another year. I'd be willing to give him 2-3 months into next season to see what was going on.
Yeah, I think that we're definitely different on this one because
Yeah.
I don't think he'll make those changes.
No, I'm saying I know you don't think he will. I'm saying if he did, then if he's unwilling to, then I think it's time to say goodbye.
Yep.
If he is willing to make the changes, I think that it's owed to him with everything he's given to this franchise to give him an opportunity to prove himself next year. And then if he can't, you know, that's the rough life of sports.
Yep.
So, all right,
All right, well,
that's it.
goodbye, Mariners.
We talked 9/11 today. We talked a little bit about our kids in school. We appreciate you guys joining us.
Yep.
Don't forget to make your blind luck picks. You too, Charles, because there's a game tonight.
Oh crap! Yeah, that's right. I probably should do that right after we get off of here.
Yeah. Get that done, and hey, have a great week. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening to us cry and ramble and yell at people at times. And just in closing, you know, we talked about 9/11 today. Try to remember, for those of you who are old enough, try to remember what that felt like that day, and try to spend a little bit of time every day getting back to that feeling of unity with the people around you. Give them a hug, let them know you care. You know, I saw a post yesterday. A friend of mine had lost someone that was close in their life that they hadn't talked to recently. And they said, you know, wish I would have reached out more. You know?
Yeah.
No one's guaranteed tomorrow, and you know, tell everyone you know you love them. You know, give them a hug, say something. That's the beautiful thing about Facebook, man. Back in the day, you had to have like an hour phone conversation. You know, and you didn't want to do that. Just send somebody a message, man. Tweet them out, Instagram them with an old picture of you. Tell them you love them. Take care of each other. Hug each other. Next week we'll have a guest on. Rory will be handing keys over.
We'll be on keys over. We'll be doing a final walkthrough with the wonderful Taylor family
Yeah.
who donated so much peanut butter before they even moved up here.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going to catch up with their family this afternoon.
Yep.
And then next week, like you said, we got a final walkthrough at 9 a.m. So I won't be here. It'll be
mayor.
Luke. It'll be the unofficial mayor of Puyallup.
Jacob E. Hall.
And you will be entertained. So do not miss next week.
I probably would have been taught for like an hour.
Yeah, Luke is just going to hit the start button. And
I'm gonna like say one thing to start the train, and then just Jesus take the wheel. So, all right, Charles, love you too, brother. Peace out. We'll see you on the Blind Luck page. Everyone have a great week, great weekend.
And of course, as always, go Cougs.
Go Hawks. Bye.